Thinking fast, Sabrina put on a flattering smile and cooed at Charlie. "Mr. Charlie, it's such an honor for all of us at the Aurelius Grand, and for me to have you here. It's so great to see an old classmate." She thought a little flattery would make him forget what she'd just done. She had seriously underestimated Charlie. When Isaac heard Sabrina's words, he asked "Sabrina, you and Mr. Charlie are classmates?" "Yes, we are," Sabrina said quickly. "Charlie was the class president back in college. We were really close," Isaac said immediately. "I'll inform the head office tomorrow. You're the new director of human resources for the Aurelius Grand. From manager to director of human resources was a leap of at least 3 levels. The pay was more than 10 times what she made now, and she'd have power over almost every employee's career. She would be a top executive." When Sabrina heard this, she was so excited she nearly fainted. Just then, Charlie said, coldly, "Mr. Craven, do you know what my relationship with Sabrina is really like?" Isaac thought Charlie was unhappy with the promotion and immediately said, "If Mr. Charlie isn't satisfied, then we'll make Miss Sabrina the vice president." Charlie suddenly said, "Because I didn't have a membership card, I called Sabrina for help. But she humiliated me for no reason and even tried to have security beat me up more than once. And you want to promote her to vice president? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to go against me?" Hearing this, a chill went down Isaac's spine. His attempt to suck up had backfired spectacularly. His eyes, now full of rage, locked onto Sabrina. He snarled, "You dared to offend Mr. Charlie? Do you have a death wish?" Sabrina's legs gave out. She collapsed to her knees, groveling and crying, "Mr. Charlie, I was wrong." Isaac kicked her hard, sending her sprawling several feet away. He cursed, "You arrogant fool! Today, you're going to learn the price for messing with Mr. Charlie." He turned and shouted to the security guard beside him, "Drag her out of here!" After that, I want you to spread the word all over Auris Hill that no company is ever to hire her again. Sabrina, terrified, cried out, "Mr. Craven, I was wrong. Please forgive me." Isaac was furious. He shouted, "So now you know you were wrong! Where was this apology before? How could you think you could get away with offending Mr. Wade? If it weren't for Mr. Wade's presence, I would kill you myself." Sabrina broke down completely, sobbing. She dropped to her knees and crawled over to Charlie, banging her head on the floor over and over. "Mr. Wade, I was wrong. I'm so sorry. Please, for old time's sake, let this go." Charlie asked her coolly, "Sabrina, why did you insult me and my wife just a few minutes ago?" Sabrina wailed, "I was just confused. It's my fault. I have a big mouth. Please, forgive me." Charlie said, "I don't bother people who don't bother me, but if someone comes after me, I don't let it go." Then he scoffed, "You made your bed. Now lie in it." Isaac snarled, "You witch! You dare talk back to Mr. Wade? I'll shut that mouth of yours for good." Sabrina didn't dare to plead for mercy anymore. She just knelt there, weeping uncontrollably. Charlie didn't feel any pity for her. He just ignored her and said flatly to Isaac, "I want to talk to you about the Sky Garden. Let's go to your office." Isaac nodded quickly, saying respectfully, "Mr. Charlie, please come with me." Then he pointed at the nearby security guard and yelled, "Get her!" "Yes, Mr. Craven!" The security guard wouldn't dare to disobey. He nodded and immediately moved to grab Sabrina. Sabrina's wails filled the air, but Charlie paid her no mind. He followed Isaac, who was nodding and bowing the whole way, into the Aurelius Grand. As soon as they arrived at Isaac's office, Charlie got right to the point. "In a few days, it's my wedding anniversary. I want to reserve the entire Sky Garden. Is that possible? Isaac replied without a moment's hesitation. Mr. Wade, to be fair to all our premium members, the Sky Garden has never allowed private bookings. We don't even make exceptions for city officials. But for you, whatever you need. If you wanted, we would reserve the garden for you and you alone, forever. Charlie said calmly, "That won't be necessary. Just for the anniversary is fine. Also, I'll need your help to prepare a little surprise for my wife." Isaac said at once, "Mr. Wade, don't you worry. I and the entire staff of the Aurelius Grand is at your command." Charlie had settled things at the Aurelius Grand. On the bus ride home, he noticed that almost every other passenger was on their phone, scrolling through social media. And to his surprise, they were all watching the same video. It was the viral video of someone throwing $13 million in cash at Rare Earth. The video was shot from the perspective of Steven's entourage. It showed a fleet of top-of-the-line luxury cars, a dozen security guards in black suits carrying black briefcases, and $13 million in cash being dumped on the floor. It was a humiliating spectacle for the sales manager, who had nowhere to hide as the whole thing was posted online. But the video never showed a clear shot of Charlie's face. The clip went viral all over Oris Hill. Everyone was wondering who this mysterious hero was. Girls everywhere were having their own Cinderella fantasies, dreaming of meeting this low-key Prince Charming. Charlie watched it a few times to make sure he couldn't be recognized. Satisfied, he finally relaxed and went home. When he got there, the house was filled with joy. Claire had landed the contract from the M Grand Group and was going to be made the director of the Wilson Group. Her parents were ecstatic, even crying with joy. After being looked down on by the Wilson family for so many years, she could finally hold her head high. With his in-laws so happy, even the sight of Charlie didn't seem to annoy them as much as usual. His mother-in-law said excitedly, "Oh, I'm so happy today. My daughter is truly someone special." Then she looked at Charlie and, with a rare smile, said, "Charlie, I guess you deserve some credit for this. I won't make you cook tonight. Let's go out to eat." Claire smiled and said, "Great, let's go to the Ritz for a fancy dinner." "That's too expensive," her mother blurted out. "Isn't that place like $1,000 a person?" Claire smiled and said, "Mom, a director's salary is really high. It's $1 million a year." "Oh!" Her mother-in-law clapped her hands and said happily, "That's wonderful, just wonderful. My family is finally going somewhere." Then she added, "However, you need to give at least 70% of your salary to me. You young people don't know how to manage money. It's much safer with me than with you." Claire nodded right away and smiled. "Okay, Mom, I'll give it to you every month, but on one condition. You can't keep putting Charlie down all the time, complaining about him being my husband." Her mother-in-law's eyes lit up and she smiled widely. "Okay, deal. I care about your reputation, so I'll try to say less about him from now on." While the family of four went out for dinner at the Ritz, Wendell was sulking at home. He'd seen the news from the M Grand Group, and it left him fuming. He had been so sure Claire wouldn't get the contract without his help. He never expected her to land a $60 million contract that morning. He remembered the smug things he'd said at her house yesterday. Didn't that make him look like a total fool now? Harold called to complain, launching right into it. "Wendell, you've got some nerve. I've been trying to set you up with my cousin, and you go and help her get the deal with the M Grand Group? You're making me look like an idiot." Wendell was just as confused. What the hell? He hadn't helped Claire at all. Then Harold asked, "Wendell, tell me the truth. Did you sleep with my cousin?" Wendell was too embarrassed to deny it. If he admitted he had nothing to do with any of it, he'd be admitting he was completely useless. So he just mumbled, "Yeah, sorry, Harold. I'll make it up to you, I promise." "I knew it," Harold sighed, then quickly asked, "So, Wendell, was my cousin still, She never let that loser husband of hers touch her. You really hit the jackpot. A sick idea started to form in Wendell's mind. Perfect. Claire was still a virgin. He could spread a rumor that they'd slept together to drive a wedge between her and her husband. Thinking of this, he smirked and said to Harold, "Harold, you were right. It was incredible." Harold said, a little bitterly, "Well, you owe me now, Wendell. Don't forget about me." "Don't worry," Wendell agreed easily. Right after he hung up with Harold, Wendell's father called. As soon as Wendell answered, his dad blurted out, "Wendell, we have a problem. The Grand Group just cut all ties with us. Have you pissed someone off recently?" Hearing this, a chill went down Wendell's spine. The Grand Group had cut off all business with the Jones family? That meant the family was facing a massive loss. He blurted out, "What's going on, Dad?" "I haven't pissed anyone off lately. Have you?" Wendell's father said. Angrily, "Me neither. I've been at the office all week. I haven't gone out and made any enemies," Wendell said nervously. "Oh, Dad, you don't think the new chairman of the Grand Group is shaking things up, do you?" "That's probably it," Wendell's father realized. "With the new chairman taking over, I haven't even had a chance to introduce myself. I've tried to set something up with that woman Doris a few times, but she just keeps saying their chairman isn't taking visitors." Wendell asked, "So what do we do?" His father thought for a moment. "Wait, that's right. The Wilson family is having a banquet tomorrow night. I heard they invited the chairman of the Grand Group. We'll go and find a way to meet him there." "Okay," Wendell said immediately. "We'll go together tomorrow." The next day was the Wilson family's big night, and the entire family was buzzing with excitement. The news had been brewing all night. The Wilson family had not only landed the Grand Group contract, but had also invited the chairman to their banquet. The story had spread all over Oris Hill. For the banquet, Charlie put on the best suit he owned and headed to the hotel. Just as he got out of his car at the hotel entrance, a luxury car screeched to a halt right in front of him. A moment later, Wendell stepped out, dressed in a designer suit, his hair perfectly styled. A valet immediately rushed over to greet Wendell. Wendell clearly saw Charlie, too. A look of contempt crossed his face as he looked Charlie up and down and smirked. "Where'd you get the knockoff suit? You look ridiculous in it." Charlie asked calmly, "What's it to you?" The corner of Wendell's mouth curled into a sarcastic smirk. "You're right. You have nothing to do with me. But your wife? She has everything to do with me now." Charlie frowned. "What are you talking about?" The people nearby couldn't help but stop and watch. Since last night, a rumor had been making the rounds. According to the rumors, Claire was only able to win the Grand Group's cooperation because she'd given herself to Wendell. Otherwise, with the reputation of her and the Wilson family, how could they have ever landed a deal with the Grand Group? Now, it was all starting to make sense. Wendell saw the crowd gathering around them and said to Charlie, "So, what do you think the real reason is that she got that contract?" Charlie looked at Wendell and asked coolly, "And what reason is that?" Wendell's mouth curled into a smirk. "It was because of me, of course. Claire is my woman now, so I pulled some strings to help her get the deal with Grand. If you know what's good for you, you'll divorce her. It's the right thing to do." Even though everyone nearby had already been gossiping, hearing Wendell say it so directly was still a shock. "Ha ha! So it was true. Claire had actually gotten the contract by sleeping with Wendell. Because of you?" Ha 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 ha! Charlie didn't get angry. He just laughed and said, "You really think you're worthy?"
To know more, listen to the audio series, Born to Rule, only on the Pocket FM app. Install the Pocket FM app now within 1 minute to download 10 free episodes before the offer disappears.
"Me? Not worthy? And you are?" Wendell's eyes darkened. "You're a loser who can't even take care of his own wife. She made a huge mistake marrying you." With me, she can have everything she wants. Charlie's face turned cold. He lowered his voice and said, "I'll give you two choices. One, you're going to get down on your knees and apologize to Claire. In front of everyone, you will take back every word you just said. Two, I will completely bankrupt your family's company. Your call." "Are you serious? Who the hell do you think you are? You're going to bankrupt my company?" Wendell laughed wildly, looking at Charlie with pure disgust. He clearly didn't take him seriously. "Are you delusional? How are you going to do that? Do you have any idea what my family's company is worth?" Charlie was expressionless. He stared at Wendell for a moment as if he were looking at a child, then casually took out his phone and dialed Stephen. "In 3 minutes, I want to see Wendell's company bankrupt, its assets liquidated, and its debts through the roof." Making a multi-billion-dollar company go bankrupt in 3 minutes? It was a total fantasy. Wendell stared at Charlie with a sneer. "Damn, you really think you're something? Think you're some kind of superhero?" Then Wendell said coldly, "Loser, stop pretending. I'll give you two choices, too. One, you kneel down and apologize to me, then divorce Claire immediately. Two, I'll get a few guys to wipe you off the face of the earth. Then you can watch me and Claire be all lovey-dovey. The choice is yours. You have 1 minute." Charlie looked down at his phone. "You have 1 minute left. Are you sure you can't be saved? Screw you. You have 30 seconds to think about it. If you don't get on your knees, I will make you regret this for the rest of your life," Wendell said, his voice dripping with contempt. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time's up. Don't blame me for being cruel. You're the loser who brought this on yourself. Wendell straightened his collar, then motioned to a few of his bodyguards, ready to take care of Charlie. But at that exact moment, Wendell's cell phone rang. Wendell was taken aback. He saw it was his father calling and quickly answered. "Dad, I'm at the party. Are you here yet?" On the other end of the line, Wendell's father was screaming. "You idiot! Who did you piss off? What have you done? All our shareholders are dumping stock like crazy. Our stock has dropped more than 90%. Then his father yelled again. "The bank is calling in all our loans. All of our partners just pulled out and won't pay us. Our cash flow is gone. The only thing left is bankruptcy and liquidation." Listening to the voice on the phone, the color drained from Wendell's face. Cold sweat dripped down his forehead. "Our family is finished. Completely finished." Wendell wanted to ask what was happening, but then he heard police sirens wailing through the phone. It was followed by the sound of a door crashing open and a police officer telling his father to cooperate with an investigation. He went completely limp. The phone slipped from his hand and shattered on the ground. His legs gave out, and he collapsed to his knees in front of Charlie. A gust of wind blew past, but it was nothing compared to the chill in his heart. His bodyguards saw this and froze, completely stunned. They didn't move an inch. Wendell was terrified. He whispered to Charlie, "Who are you? You did this, didn't you?" The crowd of onlookers was just as shocked. Wendell takes one phone call, and suddenly he's on his knees in front of the Wilson family's son-in-law. What was going on? Charlie looked down at him, leaned in, and said in a low voice, "I gave you a choice. You just chose the wrong one." "I know I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please, just let me go. This has nothing to do with you. I never touched her. I had nothing to do with the Grant Group contract. I made it all up. I'm begging you. Please forgive me and my family." Wendell kept bowing and scraping on the ground, begging for forgiveness. He never could have imagined that the Wilson family's live-in son-in-law had this kind of power. One phone call, and his family was destroyed. When he finally lifted his head and looked at Charlie's face, he realized that this ordinary-looking man was more terrifying than any demon. Someone who could bankrupt his family in minutes was not someone you could afford to cross. Charlie shook his head. You should be grateful. At least I'm letting you live. Otherwise, your whole family would be dead. As soon as Charlie said this, Wendell's face went white, and his entire body started shaking uncontrollably. Charlie looked at him and said coldly, "Let me spell it out for you. I am that superhero from the internet. If you don't want to die, you'll keep my identity a secret. Otherwise, you and your father won't be around tomorrow morning." With that, Charlie patted Wendell's cheek and walked into the hall without a second glance. Wendell just collapsed to the ground, too scared to do anything about the humiliating gesture. When he saw Charlie walk into the hall, Wendell scrambled inside after him. He frantically looked around until he spotted Claire. He crawled over to her, got on his knees at her feet, and started bowing and scraping, crying, "Claire, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have spread those rumors. The Grand Group project, that had nothing to do with me. I made it all up. Please, just let me go." Claire was completely stunned by this. She quickly backed away, bumping right into a warm embrace. Claire looked back and saw it was Charlie holding her. Charlie had spotted Claire the moment he walked in. She'd clearly taken great care getting ready and looked absolutely stunning, like a star shining in the crowd. When he saw Wendell rushing toward her, Charlie stepped in and caught her in his arms to keep her from falling, shooting a furious look at Wendell. The look was enough to terrify Wendell, who scrambled away on his hands and knees, desperate not to make Charlie even angrier. Claire asked confused, "What's wrong with him?" Charlie held her close and whispered, "I think he's lost his mind. Just ignore him." Even though they were husband and wife, they had never been this close before. Feeling the warmth of Charlie's arms around her, Claire's ears turned bright red. She quickly pulled away from Charlie's embrace and stammered, Chairman Wade from the Grand Group should be here. I should go find him." Just as Wendell was running off, Harold walked in with his sister Wendy and her fiancé Gerald White. With Gerald was another young guy in expensive clothes. He actually looked a little like Gerald. Harold ran right into Wendell and said quickly, "Hey, Wendell! I just got here and heard something happened to your family. Is that true?" Wendell looked completely defeated. He pushed Harold aside, muttering, "It's over. It's all over." Harold asked, looking concerned, "Mr. Jones, what's wrong with you?" Wendell just shook his head, terrified. He didn't dare say a word. He was sure that if he said the wrong thing, he'd be a dead man on the street by tomorrow. So Wendell yanked his arm out of Harold's grasp and ran off, completely hopeless. Harold watched him go and sighed. Damn, I guess his family's really finished. That was fast, right? Everything was fine yesterday, and now they're bankrupt. Then Harold spotted Charlie and Claire and got a nasty idea. He rushed over to Claire. "Claire, let me introduce you to a very important guest. This is Gerald's cousin, Fred White, the eldest son of the White family." "Fred, this is my cousin, Claire," Harold said to Fred with a fawning look on his face. Fred's eyes had been glued to Claire ever since he walked in. As soon as Harold introduced them, he quickly held out his hand. "Hello, Claire. I've heard for a long time how beautiful the Wilson family's daughter is. Now that I see you, I can say the rumors don't do you justice." Charlie's eyes flashed with annoyance. His wife was beautiful, and it was getting really old dealing with all the flies buzzing around her, one after another. So Charlie stepped in, shook Fred's hand first, and said coldly, "Hello, I'm Claire's husband." "You?" Fred looked Charlie up and down with obvious disgust. He pulled his hand back quickly and said with a sneer, I didn't realize Claire was married. What a waste. Like a beautiful flower planted in a pile of cow crap. Wendy quickly jumped in. Fred, this loser is just a live-in son-in-law for our family. He doesn't have a job or any skills. Then she gave Fred a deliberate wink and added, Fred, once I marry Gerald, we'll all be family. We should definitely see more of each other. Fred knew exactly what she was getting at. She was giving him the green light to go after Claire. He smiled and said, Miss Claire is as beautiful as an angel. I would love nothing more than to get to know her better. Just then, Charlie saw his mother-in-law, Elaine, and his father-in-law, Jacob, walking over. Elaine rushed right up to Claire and said, Claire, have you heard? The Jones family is bankrupt. What? Claire asked, shocked. When did that happen? Just now, Elaine sighs. I was hoping you'd eventually divorce Charlie and get with Wendell, but I guess that's out the window now. Charlie was completely exasperated. Was his mother-in-law really this clueless? Didn't she have any idea who she was really dealing with when it came to her son-in-law? When Fred saw Elaine, he rushed over and introduced himself. You must be Claire's mother, right? I'm Gerald's cousin, Fred. You're so beautiful, it's no wonder you have such a gorgeous daughter like Claire. When Elaine heard that Fred was not only Gerald's cousin, but also the eldest son of the wealthy White family, her eyes lit up. She said enthusiastically, Yes, I'm Claire's mother. Are you and Claire friends? Fred nodded and smiled. You could say that. We only just met today, actually. Elaine was overjoyed. She nodded quickly and said, Well, let's all find a place to sit. Don't just stand there. Mr. White, you young people should definitely get to know each other better. Mom, Claire exclaimed, cutting her mother off before she could say anything else. Elaine opened her mouth to say more, but Claire touched her arm and motioned toward the stage, reminding her to pay attention. Just then, Mrs. Wilson stepped into the spotlight. She looked around the room, beaming, then stood at the microphone and smiled. First of all, on behalf of the Wilson family, I'd like to welcome all of our dear friends and partners to our banquet tonight. Next, please join me in welcoming the Vice Chairman of the Emgrand Group, Miss Doris Young. The spotlight instantly swung over, illuminating a woman in the front row. Dressed in a black evening gown, her perfect figure was on full display. Under the lights, she was as dazzling as a fairy, and every man in the room couldn't help to stare. The Vice Chairman of the Emgrand Group. An incredible beauty! Either one of those titles alone was enough to capture everyone's attention. Doris stood and gave a polite nod to the crowd. When her eyes found Charlie, they lingered for a moment before she looked away. Mrs. Wilson continued her speech. Today, I want to give a special thanks to the Emgrand Group for entrusting such an important project to the Wilson family. I promise, the Wilson family will give it our all to live up to the trust Emgrand has placed in us. And secondly, we want to introduce you all to an outstanding young member of our Wilson family. If it weren't for this person, we would have never secured this partnership with Emgrand. Also, after discussing it as a group, we've decided to nominate this person as the Wilson Group's new director. They will be solely responsible for our project with the Emgrand Group. Elaine said excitedly, Oh, Claire, it's your turn to go on stage. Even though Claire was prepared to go up, she was still nervous. Charlie immediately gave her an encouraging look. Harold looked over at a thrilled Claire and couldn't help but let a smirk creep onto his face. Mrs. Wilson also looked at their table and said with a smile, Please welcome the new director of the Wilson Group, Harold Wilson. Claire froze. She looked to the side in disbelief, only to see Harold proudly walking up to the stage. Charlie's eyes went cold. What a classic bait and switch! After using Claire, the Wilson family just threw her aside without a single thought for her feelings. Claire's eyes immediately turned red, and tears welled up. Without a second thought, she stood up and ran out of the room, not looking back. She had been so happy when she arrived, and now she was completely devastated. Charlie watched her go, his face growing even colder. Bullying his wife? They were asking for trouble. Meanwhile, Harold stood on stage and said proudly, "Thank you for the company's trust in me. I will definitely work hard as director, and I will absolutely complete the project the Grand Group has given us." Mrs. Wilson nodded, satisfied. She took the microphone back and said, "There is one more important announcement for this banquet. We are fortunate to have with us tonight the new chairman of the Grand Group. Please give your warmest applause and welcome Chairman Wade." The room erupted in thunderous applause. Every guest here tonight came to see the new chairman of the Grand Group. Everyone was dying to get a look at him. People were whispering among themselves, trying to guess who would stand up. Someone even said, "I bet the mysterious chairman of the Grand Group is the same person as that mystery hero who went viral online from that thing at Rare Earth. I think that's totally possible." The silhouette of that hero didn't look like anyone from around Oris Hill. Oh my God! If that's true, then the chairman of the Grand Group is the most powerful and richest person in all of Oris Hill, isn't he? I can't wait to see who it really is. Amid the wild applause, as everyone stared with anticipation, Charlie slowly stood up, a cold expression on his face.
To know more, listen to the audio series, Born to Rule, only on the Pocket FM app. Install the Pocket FM app now within 1 minute to download 10 free episodes before the offer disappears.
As everyone stared in disbelief, Charlie slowly stood up. In an instant, every eye in the banquet hall was on him. "Charlie, what are you doing? Sit down!" Elaine hissed, terrified. Didn't he know his place? With so many powerful people in the room, none of them had dared to stand up. And you, Charlie, a good-for-nothing son-in-law, what made him think he could steal the spotlight? Fred and Gerald shot each other a look, a wild thought crossing their minds. No way! Could the chairman of the Grand Group really be him? But then they both shook their heads. Impossible. If he was really the chairman of Grand, why would he let Elaine talk to him like that? "You piece of trash! Sit back down where you belong!" Harold yelled from the stage, his face dark. Charlie gave him a cold glance, then walked straight toward Doris Young. He completely ignored the shocked stares from everyone in the room and whispered something in her ear. As he spoke, Doris Young nodded slightly. The sight made everyone's heart skip a beat. Doris Young, the vice chairman of the Grand Group, the most famous beauty in all of Oris Hill. How could Charlie possibly know her? And from the looks of it, their relationship seemed pretty close. After he finished speaking, Charlie turned and walked out of the hall, ignoring all the eyes on him. He was going after Claire. But then Doris Young stood up, walked onto the stage, and took the microphone. Facing the sea of blank faces, she said, "Hello, everyone. I'm Doris Young. Mr. Charlie met our chairman outside just a moment ago. He was just delivering a message." Hearing that Charlie wasn't the chairman of Grand, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Fred White let out a relieved breath and whispered with contempt, "So he just met the guy once and tried to use it to get close to the assistant? What a loser." Gerald shrugged and said with a smile, "That's just what pathetic little guys like him do." Just then, Doris Young, still on the stage, looked over at Mrs. Wilson, her expression turning icy. "The chairman has asked me to inform you of something. Effective immediately, the Grand Group is terminating its cooperation with the Wilsons, and the signed contract is now void." The room erupted. No one expected Doris to say something like that. The sudden reversal left everyone completely stunned. Mrs. Wilson's face went white in an instant. She asked anxiously, "Dear Vice Chairman, what is this all about? Is there something our Wilson family did wrong?" Tonight, she had invited every respectable person in the city, hoping to use this opportunity to make a name for the Wilson family. If, in front of everyone, they were crushed underfoot right after securing the cooperation, it would be a total disaster. Doris said, "This project was originally approved by our chairman because of Miss Claire. That's why we agreed to cooperate with you. But you went ahead and made your own decision, putting some random person in charge of the project. I'm sorry, we can't accept that." After saying her piece, Doris put down the microphone and walked out of the room without a backward glance. Mrs. Wilson's face was ashen. She slumped onto the stage, completely defeated. She never imagined that her moment of cleverness would have ruined this golden opportunity for good. If she had known this would happen, she never would have let Harold take Claire's directorship. Harold was also at a complete loss. What just happened? It felt like Doris was deliberately targeting him, but he hadn't even done anything to offend her. Harold couldn't help but ask Mrs. Wilson, "Grandma, the director's appointment has already been announced. You're not going to take it back, are you?" Mrs. Wilson struggled to her feet, raised her hand, and slapped him across the face. She scolded him. "You worthless fool! Even now you're still thinking about the directorship!"
When Charlie stepped outside, he found Claire not far away. She was squatting in a quiet corner next to the hotel, crying her heart out. He walked over slowly, took off his coat, and draped it over her shoulders. "Honey, don't be sad," he said softly. "The director position at the Wilson family isn't that great anyway. It's wrong for them to treat you like this." "You don't understand," Claire whimpered. "If I become the director, my parents could finally hold their heads high in the family. How could Grandma go back on her word like that?" Charlie continued trying to cheer her up. "Maybe they'll have to come begging you to be the director. You're crying so much now your makeup will be a mess if you have to go back on stage." Claire choked on a sob. "How is that possible? Grandma made her decision. There's no chance she'll change her mind. Just leave me alone." Just then, Mrs. Wilson and Harold burst out of the banquet hall. Mrs. Wilson was old and out of breath from running. A large crowd of guests followed them out, eager to see the drama unfold. When Harold saw Charlie and Claire, he rushed over. He glared down at Claire and snapped. "Claire, hurry up and go after Miss Doris. Tell her not to terminate the cooperation with us." Claire looked up. "Terminate the cooperation? Why?" Harold said, "Stop pretending you're so innocent. You must have told Miss Doris to embarrass me in public. If you don't fix this, I'll make you pay." Mrs. Wilson, who was standing right there, slapped Harold across the face again. "You fool! How dare you talk to your sister like that? She is the director of our Wilson group." Harold was stunned. "But Grandma, you chose me as the director." Mrs. Wilson said furiously, "If you hadn't filled my head with your nonsense, I never would have changed my mind in the first place. If you keep arguing, you can get out of the Wilson family." Having been slapped twice by Mrs. Wilson, Harold was furious, but he didn't dare say another word. He could only bite his tongue and swallow his anger. Mrs. Wilson then turned to Claire and pleaded, "Claire, Grandma is begging you. You are the director of the Wilson family now. Please, hurry and talk to Miss Doris, otherwise our family will be ruined." Claire looked at Charlie, her face a mask of confusion. Charlie just shrugged. "I told you they'd come begging you to be the director. You didn't believe me. See? Now your makeup is all runny." Claire blushed, quickly wiping away her tears. "Okay," she said. "I'll try to contact Grand." With that, she dialed Doris's number. All eyes were on her. After a moment, the call went through. Claire said, "Hello, Miss Young. My grandmother asked me to call and explain. I've been promoted to director for the Wilson family, and I'll be in charge of the cooperation with Grand. Can you give us another chance?" Doris laughed lightly. "If you're the director and you're the one in charge, then there's no problem. The cooperation can continue. But if it's someone else, then things stay as they are. Miss Young, thank you so much." Claire was still confused by the whole thing. From the very beginning, it seemed like the Grand Group was going out of its way just to help her, which felt really strange. Doris said with a smile, "This is what our chairman wanted. If there's an opportunity in the future, he'll explain it to you himself." This only made Claire more confused. Who was this chairman? She had never seen him. Why was he helping her so much? "Then, could you please come back to the banquet hall?" Claire asked nervously. The woman had left in a huff, clearly annoyed with the Wilson family. Asking her to come back now seemed like a long shot. But to her surprise, Doris agreed without hesitation. Soon, everyone saw Doris's car pull back up to the hotel entrance. In that moment, everyone stared at Claire, their expressions a mix of shock and awe. When everyone was back in the banquet hall, Mrs. Wilson took Claire's hand and led her onto the stage. Putting on a show of closeness, she said, "I am so sorry about what happened earlier. It was my mistake. Actually, we have Claire to thank for all of this. She is the most outstanding member of the Wilson family. The cooperation between the Wilson family and Ford Fusion is all thanks to Claire's hard work. She put in a tremendous effort." Doris Young, standing beside her, shot her a look of contempt. She held up a hand to cut her off. "Let me correct you on that," she said. "For this cooperation, Miss Claire didn't just make a great effort. It's happening entirely because of her. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It was incredibly rude, but no one was surprised." With the power Doris held, she could have slapped Mrs. Wilson right there in public, and the old woman wouldn't have dared to say a word. Mrs. Wilson nodded quickly. "Miss Young is right. All the credit goes to Claire. From now on, Claire will be the director of the Wilson family's business. She will be fully responsible for the cooperation between the Wilson family and the Grand Group." A small smile appeared on Doris's face. She shook Claire's hand and said, "I look forward to a successful partnership." Claire, still a bit lost, could only nod in a daze. The room erupted in thunderous applause. Everyone looked at Claire, their eyes full of admiration. This woman was going places. The Grand Group took her so seriously. Claire herself was just as confused. She turned to look at Charlie. The situation was exactly as he had predicted. Mrs. Wilson had given her back the director position that should have been hers all along. Even after the banquet ended and they were back home, Claire was still in a daze. Thinking back to what Charlie had said, she couldn't help but feel puzzled. Over the past few days, Charlie seemed different. It felt like there was a lot about him she didn't understand, as if he were surrounded by a fog. That night, Claire became famous in Orris Hill. Everyone knew there was a rising star in the Wilson family, and that the Grand Group had her back. It seemed that with her, the Wilson family's comeback was just around the corner. The next morning, Claire woke up early, feeling refreshed, and hurried to the office. Today was her first day as director. She hoped she could give it her all and do a great job. After Charlie got up, he went about his usual routine of doing the housework. Charlie had just finished his chores and was about to head to the market for groceries when he got a sudden call from his mother-in-law, Elaine. He answered, and her frantic voice came through the phone. "Charlie, you have 10 minutes to get down to Safety Lane, or I swear you'll regret it when I get home." With that, she hung up. Charlie was confused. He hadn't heard from his mother-in-law all morning, and now she was calling in a panic, like it was some kind of emergency. Even though Charlie couldn't stand his mother-in-law, he didn't dare ignore her demand. He quickly tidied up, then went outside to hail a cab and rushed over to Safety Lane. When he got out of the car, he saw a group of older folks angrily gathered in front of a closed insurance company. And right at the front of the crowd was his mother-in-law, holding a banner and shouting, "Harley is trash! A total scam! We want our rights and we want our hard-earned money back!" Charlie hurried over to her. "Mom, you called me. What's going on?" As he spoke, the angry chants started up again, the crowd of seniors shouting so loudly it made his ears ring. Elaine pulled Charlie into her spot and ordered, "Here, you take over. Shout the slogan for me. I've been yelling all morning and my voice is shot."
To know more, listen to the audio series, Born to Rule, only on the Pocket FM app. Install the Pocket FM app now within 1 minute to download 10 free episodes before the offer disappears.
Charlie didn't really get it, but he joined in the protest with the older folks. While chanting slogans, he asked one of the older guys next to him what was happening, and finally got the story. It turned out that this Harley insurance company had been offering policies with crazy high returns, and these seniors were lured in by the promise of big payouts. They all bought a bunch of policies from the company. It was supposed to be the day they collected their dividends, but when they showed up to get their money, they found the company's doors locked. A couple of employees were there, just feeding everyone flimsy excuses. This group of seniors realized they'd been scammed. No wonder his mother-in-law had called him in such a panic and made him come join her. Thinking about it, Charlie's stomach dropped. He couldn't help but ask his mother-in-law, "Mom, how much did you invest in this?" Elaine said nervously, "They told me I'd get huge dividends. I got carried away and put all our savings into their policies." Charlie was floored. "What? All our savings went into this?" Hearing that, Elaine immediately snapped at him. "Do you have to have a big mouth? Don't you think I'm embarrassed enough? Why are you shouting?" She kept on nagging. "If you'd ever brought in any real money, I wouldn't have had to risk it on this company. With a useless son-in-law like you around, what other choice did I have to make our money grow?" This guy. It's one thing that he doesn't support the family, but now he's judging her, as if he could have done better with that money. Then she said to Charlie, "I'm telling you, you stay here and keep chanting. Don't you dare stop for a second." Charlie could only nod and say, resigned, "Okay, Mom." Just then, a few of the other women came over. They looked Charlie up and down, then asked Elaine, "Elaine, is this your son-in-law?" As they talked, they gave his clothes another once-over, shook their heads, and chuckled. "Why does he look so shabby? He doesn't look like much of a son-in-law." "Yeah, those clothes have seen better days. He can't compare to someone from Lady Wilson's family." Some people are just so good at putting others down, and every word was dripping with contempt. Charlie didn't care. They were all older women with one foot in the grave, and now they'd lost their life savings. He didn't see any point in arguing with them. Elaine was fuming, and the sight of Charlie just made her even angrier. She snapped, "Look at him. I'm going to make my daughter divorce him in a few days. She can do so much better with a new husband." Charlie scoffed to himself. Even if you gathered all the rich kids in Orris Hill, they couldn't hold a candle to him. Elaine was getting desperate. Charlie was useless. The most he could do was shout slogans for her. To get her investment back, she needed someone with real power to step in and fix this. It was a shame the family of Wendell Jones, who'd been after her daughter, had gone bankrupt. Otherwise, she could have asked them for help. That's it! Elaine suddenly remembered Gerald's brother Fred White, the one she'd met at the family banquet yesterday. He was her best hope. From the way he was looking at her daughter, she figured he had a thing for Claire. The White family might not be as powerful as the Jones family used to be, but they were still a big deal. If she called him, he might be able to do something. As luck would have it, Fred White had given her his business card yesterday. She pulled out her phone and dialed his number. The call connected almost immediately. Elaine said, "Hey, is this Fred? This is Claire's mother." Ever since Fred saw Claire at the banquet, he'd been completely captivated. He couldn't get her out of his head. He was worried he'd never get a chance to get close to her. And then, out of the blue, her mother called him. He figured Elaine was in some kind of trouble, and he wasn't about to pass up an opportunity to look good, so he quickly put on a polite tone.
Elaine, is everything okay? Well, there is something I need your help with, Elaine said, getting straight to the point. Fred, a few of my friends and I bought some investment products from an insurance company called Harley, and we put all our savings into it. But now the company won't let us withdraw our money. Can you figure out a way to help me get it back? Fred was ecstatic when he heard this. He saw this as his moment to shine and said confidently, "Don't you worry, I'm on my way over right now. I'll definitely help you solve this." Elaine was thrilled. "Thank you so much," she said, her voice full of relief. After hanging up, she shot a glare at Charlie and said angrily, "Some people have no skills whatsoever. You just can't count on them. Besides shouting a few slogans, what good are they? Completely useless." Charlie just smirked. His mother-in-law was so materialistic and clueless. Calling Fred for help? This company had scammed people out of at least tens of millions. Anyone who dared to pull off a scam that big must have some serious connections, maybe even with the criminal underworld. How could Fred White possibly make them give the money back? The White family's power was pretty average, and after the M. Grand Group cut ties with them, they were even weaker. With their influence, it was basically impossible for them to intervene in such a massive financial fraud case. Honestly, this little problem could be solved with a single phone call to Isaac Craven from Aurelius Grand. After all, he was the Wade family's representative in Oris Hill. Any entrepreneur or major figure in the city, legitimate or not, had to show him respect. But his mother-in-law was just so frustrating. Since she believed in Fred, he'd let Fred try to help her. He was curious to see what he could actually do. When the other seniors saw Elaine on the phone, they immediately smiled and crowded around her, asking if she'd found someone important to help them. Elaine proudly announced to the group, "Don't worry, I asked the eldest son of the White family to come and help. He'll make a few calls and hopefully we'll get our hard-earned money back." Someone exclaimed, "The eldest son of the White family? Wow, Elaine, you're amazing! You actually know someone that important?" "Yeah, a guy like Fred White must have a ton of connections. Solving our problem should be a piece of cake for him, right? Just a matter of a few words. Elaine, since you have such good contacts, why did you marry your daughter off to a loser like that instead of someone like him?" Elaine shot Charlie a look of disgust and scoffs. "This bum will be kicked out of the Wilson family sooner or later." Charlie didn't say a word. He was just going to wait and watch Fred White show up and completely fail. Soon enough, a black luxury car pulled up slowly in front of everyone. A young man in a sharp suit and leather shoes, looking like a real success story, stepped out of the car. It was Fred White. The seniors around them started murmuring in admiration. "Wow, look at that. Now that's a real catch. What a great potential son-in-law. I wonder what lucky girl will get to be his wife someday. Yeah! If my daughter could marry him, I'd die a happy woman." Get real. In your dreams. He wouldn't even look at your girl. Just then, Elaine spotted Fred and rushed over to him, saying desperately, "Oh, Fred, you're here. I was about to lose my mind." Fred smiled and said, "Elaine, I'm sorry to keep you waiting." Elaine quickly replied, "Oh, Fred, you're too polite. I barely waited 10 minutes. You got here so fast." Fred smiled. "I heard you were in trouble, so I hurried over. I ran a few red lights on the way." Elaine looked proud, but she asked with a show of concern, "Isn't it a problem to run so many red lights?" "Not at all," Fred White said casually. "The traffic cops in the city are all friends of mine. One phone call can make any ticket disappear." After boasting, he changed the subject. "Now, let's talk about you. How much money did you get cheated out of?" Elaine sighed. "It was over $1 million in total. We were supposed to get $200,000 in dividends this month, but now we can't even get our original investment back." Fred nodded and announced loudly, "Don't worry, I'll handle this. Now that I'm on the case, I'll definitely get your money back for you."
Just then, he noticed Charlie standing behind Elaine, and his expression shifted. He hadn't expected to see that worthless eyesore Charlie here. Ever since he first saw Claire, Fred White had been smitten. And after his younger brother Gerald mentioned that Claire was probably still single, his interest grew even stronger. So, seeing Claire's loser of a husband, he couldn't help but sneer. He put on a deliberate smile and said, "Oh, look who it is. Charlie's here. Do you have a way to help Elaine get her investment back? Or do you want to give it a try first? You won't turn around and blame me for stealing your spotlight, will you?" Elaine jumped in. "Him? Try? That's a joke. What can he do to help? All he's good for is opening his mouth to shout a few slogans. Fred, just ignore him." Fred nodded and said sarcastically, "Well, since Charlie here doesn't have what it takes, I guess I'll give it a shot." Charlie just smiled slightly. "Go on, Fred. You can do it." Fred laughed with contempt. At that moment, the crowd of seniors swarmed Elaine, all talking at once. "Elaine, can you ask this handsome young man to help us too? We were all cheated out of our hard-earned money." Elaine said arrogantly, "Oh, I can't ask him to do that for all of you. Fred is doing me a personal favor, and he doesn't even know you." The others started begging Fred directly. "Mr. White, you seem so capable. Please help us too." Fred was about to brush them off, but then he noticed how materialistic and greedy Elaine was. He smiled and said, "All right, since you're all friends of Elaine's, I suppose I can do you a favor." When everyone cheered, Fred looked at them with a smug expression and said, "There's just one condition. I'm only doing this for Elaine. So, you'll have to pay her a 10% commission on whatever money I get back for you. Is that acceptable?" "No problem," one of the seniors said immediately. "Getting 90% back is way better than getting nothing at all." As soon as Elaine heard this, her face lit up with glee. The total amount scammed from the group was in the tens of millions. If Fred White could actually get it all back, wouldn't she make millions herself?
To know more, listen to the audio series, Born to Rule, only on the Pocket FM app. Install the Pocket FM app now within 1 minute to download 10 free episodes before the offer disappears.
While Elaine was getting excited, Fred announced loudly, "Everyone, don't worry. I'm going to talk to them right now. Just wait here for the good news." Elaine felt untouchable with Fred backing her up. "Fred, I'm coming with you," she blurted out. Charlie quickly stepped in. "Mom, you should probably stay here. If Fred can't handle this, you could get into real trouble." Elaine snapped angrily. "Are you questioning Fred's abilities?" The other seniors were all counting on Fred to get their life savings back. So when Charlie started expressing doubts, it naturally made everyone angry. Facing their accusations, Charlie said calmly, "Mom, it's safer for you to wait here. It's best if you don't get involved in the negotiation." Elaine wasn't having any of it. She immediately cursed. "Shut your mouth. This has nothing to do with you." Fred's face was full of arrogance. He laughed and said, "You've got no skills, but you're definitely full of jealousy. You think I'm a loser like you who just stands around shouting empty words." Seeing that his mother-in-law wasn't going to listen to him, Charlie stopped trying. He just said lightly, "All right then, I'll be waiting for good news from Mr. White." Charlie was getting fed up with his mother-in-law, Elaine. She was a complete snob, always fooled by appearances. To put it simply, she was just like Lady Wilson, all style and no substance. His mother-in-law had no foresight and just had to jump into the mess herself. There was no talking her down from her high horse. Elaine, completely clueless that Charlie was just trying to help, shot him a nasty look. Then, in the next second, she turned to Fred and said apologetically, "Mr. Fred, please don't pay any attention to the nonsense he's spouting. I have absolute faith in you." Fred smiled triumphantly. "It's all right, Elaine. I'm not going to lower myself to the level of a wimp. With that, he said energetically, Elaine, let's go. Okay. Fred led Elaine through the crowd and walked right up to the door of the Harley Insurance Company. As soon as they got to the door, he shouted at the employees blocking the entrance. Go tell your boss to refund all these people's money immediately. Otherwise, I'm getting my legal team and the police involved. When that happens, you and your boss will be arrested. Elaine chimed in from the side. You hear that, you crooks? We've got powerful people on our side now. If your scam of a company doesn't give us our money back, be careful, because Mr. White here will send every last one of you to prison. The young employee at the head of the line got nervous. I'm sorry, he said quickly. I'm just a security guard. I don't handle the actual business. Then call your boss, Fred said coldly. Tell him that Fred White from the Oris Hill Elite is here. He needs to come down and deal with this personally, or else he'll have to face the consequences. As he said this, Fred's face was full of arrogance. While the White family wasn't at the top of the food chain in Oris Hill, they were at least a mid-level power. He figured the boss of a scam company would have no choice but to fold after hearing his name. The young employee didn't know how deep Fred's connections ran, but he was definitely spooked, so he immediately called his boss. Right then, in the chairman's office at Harley Insurance Company, the boss, Harley Fitzpatrick, was waiting on a flat-faced, middle-aged man in his 40s. He was all smiles as he pulled a bank card from his desk drawer and handed it over respectfully. Mr. Hudson, he said, there's $30 million on this card. The pin is your birthday. This is your cut for this round. Please, have a look. The middle-aged man was dressed in a sharp suit. He looked a little unhinged, but his eyes weren't angry. They were commanding. The guy had an incredible presence. If anyone else had been in the room, they would have immediately recognized him. He was Orville Hudson. In all of Oris Hill, everyone knew that Orville Hudson was the city's underground kingpin. Nobody dared to cross him. Orville Hudson looked at Harley Fitzpatrick and smiled with approval. Harley, he said, I didn't realize you had it in you. Not bad. Not bad at all. Harley quickly asked, Mr. Hudson, what should we do about that troublemaker Mrs. Wilson downstairs? Orville said casually, a bunch of old folks. Don't worry about them. If they don't listen to you, I'll have some of my guys come over and teach them a lesson. Harley breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, Mr. Hudson. Orville Hudson smiled. From now on, just go for it with this kind of business. As long as you're making money, I'll take care of any problems you have. Harley was ecstatic. He put on a humble expression and said, Thank you, Mr. Hudson. With you backing me up, I'll keep pushing harder and we'll both make a fortune. Harley didn't come from a powerful family in Oris Hill, but he had one thing going for him. He was clever and knew how to run scams. He got into financial fraud, and knowing he couldn't handle that much dirty money on his own, he went to Orville for help. He offered Orville a cut of the illegal profits in exchange for protection. Since Orville Hudson called the shots in Oris Hill, Harley was completely safe. With Orville as his backer, he didn't have a single worry about the future, and his fraudulent business was booming. Just as Harley was getting excited about his new connection with Orville, his phone rang. It was one of his employees. Boss, we've got a problem. There's a guy here, Fred, who says he's from the White family. He's demanding all the money back right now, or he'll have you sent to prison. Damn it, what's this about? Harley frowned and quickly turned to Orville. Mr. Hudson, there's a guy downstairs claiming to be from the White family, leading that group of old folks to cause trouble. He's going around saying he runs this city and that we have to give back all the money we collected or he'll put us in prison. Harley deliberately exaggerated to get a rise out of Orville. As he spoke, he bowed again and begged, Mr. Hudson, the White family has some real pull here in Oris Hill. If they come after me, I really can't afford to make an enemy of them. Please, you've got to help me get through this. The White family? Orville snorted. The little White family is a joke to me. Even the head of their family has to bow and scrape when he sees me. Now some kid of theirs has the nerve to come after me? He must have a death wish. Ha 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 ha. With that, Orville slid Harley's bank card into his pocket and said coldly, "Let's go. I want to see what kind of nobody thinks he can step to me." When Orville Hudson takes money, nobody gets it back. Fred stood at the door of Harley Insurance Company with a proud look on his face. He knew this was the perfect chance to show off in front of Claire's mother, Elaine, and he had to nail it. If he could win over the mom, getting the daughter would be easy. He'd be able to get with Claire, one of the most beautiful women in Oris Hill. The thought alone made him excited. So he announced loudly, "Folks, don't you worry. The boss of this scam company is coming out right now to give everyone a full refund." When the crowd heard this, they erupted in applause, every single one of them ecstatic. Only Charlie watched Fred with a smirk. This guy was way too full of himself. Charlie had a feeling he was about to get a rude awakening. Just as Fred was soaking in the crowd's admiration, chin held high, the door to Harley Insurance Company was suddenly pushed open from the inside. They saw the boss, Harley Fitzpatrick, walk out with a middle-aged man in a stylish suit. Even though the man was a bit older, he had an incredible presence. It was Orville Hudson. Behind Orville, several tough-looking men followed closely. These were his personal bodyguards, and they all looked incredibly strong. Orville's status was so high that even though many people in Oris Hill knew his name, most had never actually seen him. So no one, not even Fred, recognized him. Everyone only recognized Harley Fitzpatrick, the boss of Harley Insurance. The crowd immediately erupted. "Look, Elaine! Fred really got Mr. Fitzpatrick to come out! He's amazing!" "Yeah, it's all thanks to Elaine. We might actually get our money back." Elaine? That young man is a real catch. He'd make 1,000 times better son-in-law. Elaine soaked up the flattery from the others, feeling incredibly pleased with herself. Fred had really helped her look good in front of everyone today. Thinking about it made her smile even wider. The way she looked at Fred was with pure satisfaction. Just then, Fred strode forward triumphantly, puffing out his chest. He didn't know Harley Fitzpatrick, and he didn't know Orville Hudson either. But since Harley seemed to be showing respect to Orville, he just assumed Orville was the boss. So he looked at Orville and said proudly, "Are you the boss of Harley Insurance Company?" Orville replied with a slight smile. "I'm not the boss. I just help him out. But if you've got something to say, you can say it to me." Fred's face lit up with understanding, and then he sneers. "Oh, so you're just some flunky. You're not important enough to talk to me. Get lost and send your boss out here." Charlie just shook his head, looking at Fred like he was an idiot. The man in the suit clearly had a commanding presence, with his crew right behind him. He was obviously not someone to mess with. But Fred was still running his mouth, practically begging for trouble. Elaine, standing nearby, also sneers and chimed in. "Fred, don't waste your breath on this nobody. The guy next to him is the boss of Harley Insurance." Harley Fitzpatrick was floored. This Fred and that old woman had some nerve. They actually dared to insult Orville Hudson like he was some street punk and tell him to get lost. They had no idea who they were dealing with. In all of Oris Hill, who would dare to be so bold as to insult Orville? Anyone who did would end up at the bottom of the river feeding the fish.
To know more, listen to the audio series, Born to Rule, only on the Pocket FM app. Install the Pocket FM app now within 1 minute to download 10 free episodes before the offer disappears.